Start maybe.
Yeah, we should. Okay.
Hi, gentlemen.
There.
Hello, Roma. If you can start the YouTube stream.
One moment. One moment.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Not too many topics today, but very important ones. So first, we're going to talk about the results for the first 6 contests. Then we're going to talk about contests that are coming up or should be coming up soon. And then we're going to have an update from Meetup on the Crystal game. And then as usual, our Q&A, both in call, YouTube, and questions from absentees who wrote in, if any. So I guess let me sort of begin here. Hang on one sec. Right. So look, the first 6 contests are finalized. I know a lot of people have been waiting. Please accept the community's deepest apologies for how long it took, but there was more than one problem. So first and foremost, the contest results are published now. They're on the forum under each contest. Those included decentralized promotion, decentralized support part 1, idea management system contest, the DevOps contest, and the soft majority voting contest, and the airdrop mechanics contests. Roman, did you already publish that? Is that already there? Your microphone's off. You're muted.
Yeah, it's on the way. It will be published after live stream.
Okay. All right. Okay. So everybody who's watching, just go to the Freeton forum and go to any one of those 6 contests and you'll be able to see what the results are. So just, wait another hour and a half and everything should be fine. As far as the number of tokens that were won, the complete total for contestants was 1,342,009. Okay. So that's pretty good. Of those, the ones that went to referral givers are essentially people who participated in promotional and support contests was a total of 1,239,013. The amount that went to developers is 96,600 and validator givers 73,500. So that's the tally. Okay. So now let's talk about why so long, why the delay. Look, guys, this really was a learning process. We're essentially trying to achieve something that's never been done before. So naturally, there are hurdles that had to be overcome. It was an amazing learning experience, that's for sure. Wasn't without its headaches, wasn't without its sleepless nights. So some of those were the following. So the first, we learned that the jury, for all intents and purposes, really didn't have much incentive. The contests that were drafted originally had rewards ranging from 500 to 1,000 tokens per juror for what turned out to be just hours upon hours of work. So it became clear that this A, doesn't motivate, and B, takes a lot of time as a result. Then, of course, there were network stoppages. So what happened was jurors voted and then they had to vote again. And whether through miscommunication or just because people are extremely busy, a lot of the secondary votes, which actually were the only votes that counted, they simply weren't made. I mean, it's just as simple as that. So again, it's a learning curve. As a result, to sort of try to mitigate this moving forward, there was a proposal that passed to change jury rewards to 5% of all distributed winnings. So from now on, jurors will be better motivated. They're going to have a real incentive to participate. But at the time when jurors were supposed to vote, that was the deal, and it wasn't a good deal. So that's one of the problems. It's important to understand that essentially what's happening right now is we began as decentralized governance 1.0. Okay. And based on governance 1.0 functionality, there was no transparency. For instance, we couldn't even monitor jury voting. We couldn't see who was voting. And it taught everybody a lot. So now, literally within the next days, we're moving to governance 1.1, where this all is essentially solved. So for instance, the new interface, you'll be able to see who voted. You'll be able to see when they voted. There are going to be stats and averages. There's going to be a basic feedback option in the interface, which we didn't have before, for every juror, and that's going to be mandatory to fill out in order for them to earn tokens. The jurors will get a percentage of the amount of tokens won by contestants. So let me sort of make that clear. So here's how it works. So let's say, for instance, that jurors voted for X amount of contests and a total of 1 million tokens is being distributed to contest winners. Each juror who participated and did their duty is going to share 5% of that million tokens. So essentially, there's going to be 50,000 tokens that are going to be distributed to the jurors who participated. It's a lot different, right? I mean, that's one thing that was done. We actually made an amendment to the first 6 contests to do exactly that, but it came in literally last minute. So it was too late. So please accept our deepest apologies for the juror turnout. Again, baby steps, and this was step 1, and and we broke an ankle, but now it's fixed. All right. Second part, which I think is the most important part that I'm sure you all are waiting for, is when's token distribution. Okay, so it turned out that wasn't as simple as we anticipated. So there were several unexpected technological hiccups that required really quick solutions at a time when there was no time. One of the members created a script, and that script required decentralized verification, and that took time. So by the way, huge thank you to Vladimir Maslikov. I really, thank you for your time and your efforts. You really stepped up, brother. But as it turned out, that too didn't work. As far as what the technological problems were, Pavel, are you here?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, can you maybe just explain exactly what the problems were technologically speaking?
Just very quickly. Vladimir used some interpreter which was not known to other validators, and they decided it will take them some time to check whether it's secure. So another team decided to rewrite it as a smart contract because it's very logical, and moreover, going forward, we will use smart contracts for distribution, for mass distribution. So we decided not to use script based on unknown for people, other validators interpreter, because they felt it's not really secure to launch it in their secure environment. This is very simple. It's not. I mean, it's not actually technical problem. It's just a decision not to use this approach, to use another one.
Okay, thank you. And do we have, we're not going to say something will happen on this and this day, but do we have a rough understanding of how long it's going to take to write that smart contract?
I think beginning of next week, something like that.
Meeting, I hope.
Be careful.
No, hello. We create a smart contract, and now we in process for testing this smart contract with Labs team.
Yeah, but they need to be reviewed. That's what I'm saying, and it will take some few days to review that. So it's not one day.
Maybe less.
Maybe less than
Maybe
1 day.
more.
It's simple smart contract.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, thank you, Sergey from Broxus. We really appreciate you stepping up and doing that. That's mighty cool of you. So yeah. Okay. So the bottom line is this is going to be resolved very soon. Everyone just has to please accept that it's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. So when we're dealing in a decentralized manner, it's hard. So again, we're essentially moving from governance 1.0 to governance 1.1. Eventually, okay, we're going to get to governance 2.0, and all of this is going to be ancient history. We're growing, we're evolving as a community, and I really, really hope that everybody understands and respects how truly difficult this is. But as you can see, we have our first results. So the interface should be ready pretty soon as well. So we'll be moving on from doing everything essentially by hand. All right. So that's that. So again, thank you for your patience. Thank you and apologies. Everything's going to be just hunky-dory fine. The next thing I want to talk about really quickly is I'm just going to mention that I know people are waiting for new contests to arrive. Now, part of the reason that they haven't been put on the contest forum is because we're waiting for the new interface to be launched. Again, we're talking days here, not weeks, not months, days. Some of the new contests that are coming up, one of which is actually going to be a jury selection contest proposal. So essentially what we want to do is we want to create a pool of additional jurors that come from all over the community. Okay. We're still ironing out the kinks of how that should be done. And we're trying to have different people in the members community look at it. We'll have to put it up for a vote and for editing, but we essentially want you guys, okay, to be part of the jury. I think this is also going to help just smooth things over moving forward. There are 5, I believe, brand awareness contests that are coming up. So we're talking things like animated stickers, GIFs, images for social media, memes. So just purely branding. So those are going to be active very soon. As far as I know, they're done or just about to be done. So we'll upload them very, very soon. And also there's a really fantastic contest coming up, UN Technology Bank, United Nations Technology Bank contest that's aimed at helping developing countries. If Alexander's here, maybe he can say a couple words about that, but essentially that's a monster. That's a monster. Alex, are you here?
I don't think Sasha is here.
Oh, he didn't come? Okay, all right. Well, maybe we'll just make an announcement in the chats once that's ready. We're working on it right now. But some of the countries that are going to be directly affected in a positive way by these contests are countries in Africa. I believe we have some African partners with us, but Lesotho, Cameroon, South Africa in general. So I think that's going to be something you're going to want to participate in, and a lot of others. So they're all in the pipeline. They're coming. Just again, sit tight and keep an eye out for updates. I really appreciate everybody. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate how long it took, and I understand that you guys are frustrated. It's all about to end in a minute. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Mitya, you want to take over?
Yeah, sure. So let me just, as usual, just a quick technical updates. And about the contest also, there will be also a lot of technical contests there in preparations. we just again I didn't want to kind of interact with the validators game. And first of all, I wanted to say a huge thank you for the validators community. You are awesome. I truly appreciate what you're doing. In just last 2 weeks of this contest, we discovered more problems and certain things that need to be improved on the protocol level, on the node level. I think more than the community has discovered for the last six months. So I think this is a really incredible contest, and your participation in that is really awesome. I mean, you're definitely making this network to improve very fast. And so we can see now that even last week, we discovered several major kind of problems. So I won't go deep into that. We will obviously write stuff when we have like 10 minutes time. But basically, so two things has happened. We are preparing this third week of contest, and I will talk about that, what is going to happen. But during this preparation, we have prepared the special smart contracts, and the smart contracts are quite unique. I think, in fact, really great stuff. We didn't see that actually before, something like that ever done. And the contracts are, it's a chess contracts. We're going to play chess players games for the history of chess. Basically, we're going from the first recorded chess game, and we're going to replay all the chess games. First, we will start from about almost 300 grandmasters and champions for last 2 centuries. Actually, the first game is what we have is dated some centuries ago. So the smart contracts are each chess player, each grandmaster will be represented as a smart contract in the network, and they will play against their opponents real chess games, move by move, recorded on the blockchain, all of them more or less simultaneously. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of games in the beginning. And then we will also play tournaments, all the recorded tournaments of the chess history on the blockchain live. The moves you will be able to track in Ton Live. You will be able, or any other, explorer, you will be able to see how they exchange moves in real time, all these contracts. And we're talking about a huge amount of data that is going to be uploaded first into the blockchain. So, and that is the third week, and that is the third week testing. Now, during the preparations of these smart contracts, we have obviously started to run tests, and some of these tests actually went on the game networks. And some of these contracts have started cause problems in certain blockchain behavior, because again, these types of things never been tested before. So we could see in game 0 and we could see in game 3 the shard, one of the shards have stopped as part of the some of the smart contracts execution, which was part of the initial testing of this chess simulation. It is a kind of a bug in the node, which we patched quite simply, and we kind of tried to patch the validators. Now, it still didn't succeed. It was a very quick patch because we didn't have a lot of time to research that, and well, we know what caused the problem, but we're not sure if that can actually be solved by applying patch. So we now see that game 3 has stopped after some patch that was applied today. We're still waiting for you guys to apply the patch for more than 66% of the nodes. I'm not sure it will work, but if not, we will just restart. But bottom line, and it's just one example. We had more of these problems, you know, and more of these things that basically had to be researched and debugged. So what will happen now is that we're actually taking time now because we want to you know, to make sure that everyone updates and that networks operate. But we cannot start the third week without all the networks operates and with the full shards and, you know, all the it just not correct. So there are two blockchains right now, two games right now, which are not performing correctly. And before we patch that, before we fix that, either by restarting or by patching, whatever works, you know, we will not start the game, the third week. So that's basically bottom line. I don't know when it will happen. You know, hopefully today, if not tomorrow. We'll start as soon as everything is ready. We need you guys to update all the nodes with this latest patches, and then if the game 3 stop will not be resolved today, we will ask for some logs because these logs are extremely important. So we will ask for some validators logs, and it's some interesting problem. Maybe, you know, maybe related. We hope it's related just to the patch, which, you know, validate. Just basically, there are no 66% of the nodes currently working, and yeah. There was in parallel another patch which we applied, and we wanted to test on the game networks, which caused some crashes on some validators, and we are now retracting this patch. We have retracted this patch, but we will apply it later on because it's still important. We patched it a few weeks ago with a just simple patch, and now we have like more correct kind of one in terms of the you know, the C++ node behavior, but it seems there is some bug that was discovered today in that, and so we retracted that. We will repatch again later on, not this week. So that's the status, I think, of the games. Ron, back to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, we're trying to keep these streams under 2 hours at this point. So those are all the topics that we had. So I think we can move on to Q&A. So let's start first and foremost, unless anybody else has something to say. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. Maybe rain, maybe snow. Okay. So let's start with questions from the folks in the actual call. Does anybody have anything they want to ask, either myself, Mita, or anyone else?
Well, I just wanted to know. Sorry, Ivan. I just wanted to note about the jury contest. I think this is extremely important. I think that's what we want to see as a community. You know, more people involved in as a juries. I think we have a very capable community technically, and obviously not only technically. So I personally would love to see more people involved in jury and avoid the problems that we had with the quality of the jury voting over technical issues, over motivation issues, but also over actually kind of the quality of the sometimes of the kind of judging itself. And I do have some problems with that.
Amen. I agree with you, man.
Yeah, Mitya, I think we should start bug bounty as well. So we never announce when we will do it, but I think it's the right time to start.
Yeah, well, a bug bounty, as any other contest, as I said, will be more technical contest, not only bug bounty, but it will be some other. But the thing is that in order to judge bug bounty or any other contest, we still need a good jury. If we have what we had last time, I'm not sure I want to apply any more contests, technical contests, right now.
Bugs, it's easy because either you found the bug or not. it's easy.
You still need to understand if it's a bug or not. And I don't see right now a jury capable of doing that currently.
Okay, Mitya, I agree that we need more juries. I mean, more professional, more motivated juries. But the idea that participating in contest will take time. So if jury selection will end up before other contest will contest will end up, then it could be done that way.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, will be more technical contests. We're preparing now. There will be several, not only bug bounty, but again, so we're ready to go. But we want to see, like me personally, I want to see some movement on the jury side to tackle the last technical contest was a disaster this time. So I just want to see something changes.
Yeah. No arguments. So I should also mention that I forgot when I was talking about the results. I forgot to say that there is some feedback. Right, there is some feedback there. Unfortunately, it was manual. So unlike the new interface, everybody sort of the jurors who voted and who provided feedback just kind of wrote it in a file essentially, and that's been uploaded. But there is some feedback there. So we weren't at 100%, but we weren't at negative either. So there are things there again that'll all be fixed. Okay. Any more questions from participants of this call, please?
Okay. We have two questions. One is technical and another is not technical. So the first one is when will the branding contest start? Because we have some prepared materials already.
That's excellent. All right, cool. Okay, so remember how I was talking about learning curve and experience? I am not going to give you a date because if I do that,
okay, no date.
You're gonna have my head.
Some range. Yeah, do they have some range? Maybe expectation, like when you'll
Sure.
send all the tokens and ready to start the second wave.
Yes, right. So yeah, exactly. So you hit it on you hit the nail on the head. So the first thing is we need the new interface. Okay, before we have that, we really don't. I mean, we'll put it on the forum, but putting it up in contest for voting, it's just we want it in the new interface. We don't want the headaches and baloney that we had to deal with this time around. So until that's done, nobody's going to be able to vote for anything. The contest itself is actually written. I've read it. It's actually written. It's actually done. It was originally written as one contest, and it was decided that just doesn't make sense. So it was split into. I apologize. There's
It's split to 5
ambulance or something.
or 7.
5, I believe. There will be 5 contests, all split, and they'll all be uploaded simultaneously. So if you want to participate in all 5, go for it, man. Days. I mean, it's written. I don't know, Roman, you're here. When do you think you'll have them all ready to go to, without naming a specific date? Are we talking a day or 2, 3, something like that? Roman?
Yeah. Data?
No, no. The branding contest.
Commander data.
Branding contest. Everything is done already. I just waiting when I can change the date and we can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So there's your answer, Ivan.
Yeah, you can put it on for approval right now because.
Well, not right now. Not right now because it's still need. all of the information is there, but it needs to be split properly and it needs some review from other people. So
it's already split, and in this case, regarding the new platform, I offered to increase the time period of this contest. For example, for 1 month, it will be okay.
No, I don't think it's quite simple contest. Why you need 1 month? I mean,
yeah, I don't see why you need a
standard
month.
2 weeks. And again, there's no new platform. It's amendment of jury voting and transparency interface, and you can start contest right now because anyway, at the moment when they will end, there will be new jury process. So you can start contest right now. You don't need to wait this governance 1.1.
So how about that?
Not today.
Well, then don't say that.
I mean, let's
Why
start.
not? I mean, it's very easy. I mean, just
Go
We'll
ahead.
try.
you all
We'll try. We'll try to get it done this week. Okay.
Okay.
No more today. No more Wednesday. No more of that. Things happen. We know that.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
And
Yeah, the
okay.
technical question. Go ahead. Mhm.
yeah, and the second is why did you chosen to go with chess moves and not just random data or something? So it's that
Because nobody understands
overcomplicate
random
it?
data. Well, because nobody
Okay.
understands random data. Like random
Okay.
data doesn't speak at all to
Mhm.
most of the people. They just don't understand the story behind. There is no story behind. So
Mhm.
what is significance? We have passed 200 million messages. Nobody really understands that.
Okay.
When you say we played all the chess games in history, and I watched Algorand, I think, playing one chess game, and a historic event of putting one game, and this game was put in the end as a log to the Algorand blockchain, one game. So I think that's also kind of a great reference point. And I said, let's just play all the games. Just play all of
Okay,
them.
so
The
it's
history of
like
chess.
a real information made by real people.
Yeah.
And like as an example of usage of a blockchain, just
Yeah.
just to
because
not put
because we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So and how much it took to get just all the data in the format like suitable to
Well,
put it?
I think all the smart contracts and all the kind of uploading stuff took about 10 days to prepare for
Wow.
for one,
So it's
basically
open data
two
sets,
people basically.
right?
It's a data set. It's an open data set. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's an open data set of the games, and we will see. Maybe if it plays too fast, and that's a possibility, we will have to replay that. So we will replay the history of chess, like I don't know, 100 times if needed. Then we just do that.
Okay. Or maybe our like computers with themselves and generate some moves and also put it on a blockchain. We can like think no.
Well, we're losing you, Ivan. We're losing your connection.
Ivan, your connection.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Ivan, your connection is failing.
yeah. Okay. That. I just wanted to. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
I'm here or not? Yeah. Okay.
Kind of here. Yeah. No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm kind of here. Okay. I just wanted to thank you for your work. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Ivan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trying our best. Yeah.
Okay. More questions, please, from participants.
Let's maybe move to YouTube. Maybe.
Let's do it. Okay. All right. So the first question comes from Christina Morozova. Hi, I have a very important question. Why are the ones who copied ideas getting the highest scores than the ones who created those ideas? It's a bit unfair, I think. You have to be more specific. I don't know exactly what you're referring to. I mean, it's just a generalized question. I saw nothing of the kind, me personally. I can't speak for anybody else, but if you actually want to bring an example, maybe re-ask your question.
Ron, I think this reference to IMS contest where they were duplicated submissions, and we find out that later submissions got scores, while submissions which were submitted before actually didn't get scores. But again, that's actually one of the problems which we think we solved with adding this reject function for juries, and juries now should be responsible for reviewing such situations and rejecting the duplicated submissions. I hope, since they're actually equal submissions, that those new submissions were submitted by exactly those who submitted them in the first place. So it was not an attack, but really, if it was an attack, then we were not ready for that time.
I see.
It succeeded.
What about to use a plagiarism module? Because it's possible.
Not really. I mean,
Not really.
No, I mean, it can, if you copy paste, it will work.
Yeah.
If you rephrase, no.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah, okay.
I think this goes back to just again voting in a very raw interface, in a very raw format, which again is going to, most of these problems are going to be solved as soon as everything moves on. And that's another thing that I wanted to say, is that some people are like, well, where are the contests? Where are the contests? Please make no doubt about it. There will be contests regularly, and there will be a lot of them. We just don't want to have to go through this bullshit, excuse my French, again. And I'm sure you don't either. So just hang tight. Once the new interface is ready, then it'll be more or less smooth sailing. Okay, so next question comes from Anne Boo. When will staking come back to Surf?
And I think I know who Anne Boo is.
I think I do too.
Shouldn't you be on vacation? Yeah, we're okay. So staking contract is in a very heavy, reward, because we need to add things to this contract that will accommodate the tokens that will be received by validators. So without that, we won't be able to distribute the winnings for validators. So, and that's just one of the things we are adding there. So we need to add this, and the work is largely done. There are no more to-dos as far as I know. By the end of this week, the contract itself will be finished, and the internal reviews, and the formal verification of this call, the depool contract, has been started about a week ago. So so then we will need to also it will take time to formally verify the contract. So I have no strict dates, but we're working on that very, very hard. There is also a depool association contract that is already has been kind of designed with the deep thanks to the validators community, who has impacted that a lot. Kostya is here, which brought a lot of stuff into the depool association discussion. And there was also Horus One who participated, and other validators. So so the association contract, which will govern the depool contracts, is kind of designed, and this design will be shared with the community next week, I believe. After we're still internally kind of reviewing that, and after that, that we will go in and also try to implement this contract as well. I hope that answers. But so there are no strict answer when it will return to serve, but hopefully very soon. And on the developer network, I think we can kind of make it available quite soon, in 2 weeks, if Surf wants to provide that in a testing environment. That's not a problem at all.
Okay, excellent, thanks. Okay, Quick question from Afro Crypto Pesa. When will distribution begin? We covered that on the call. So soon, very soon. We're trying to work out a couple of bugs. That's it. But everything's ready. Everything's calculated. Just hang tight. Anne again asks, what about translation contests and contests to grow geographical and language communities? So what about them? Yeah, write them up. I mean,
oh yeah, I can elaborate that a little bit.
Okay.
I created some contests, but they are not finished, and we are like now we are thinking that they're this idea what is cool, but not actually really fine to translate all the documentation, because scientific community knows English well, and we don't need to like translate all the document, but the some one pager will be okay. So that's all about translation for now, I think, from my perspective.
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point, because if we're talking about technical documentation, does it really need translating, since most code is written in English anyway, right? So yeah, that's a good point. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah, that's very good. But as far as the contests go, I mean, we covered contests, right? So bring up whatever contests you want. It's just a matter of functionality so that they can actually be uploaded and voted on. So again, just hang on to your hat. Okay. Hello all. I have a question about the 7th contest, Decentralized Support Contest Part 2, latest supporters. As you know, the contest ended now, but voting has not been started. When will voting start? So, okay. Right. So I can address this. We chose the first 6 contests. It was an issue of timing. So the 7th contest is going to be in the new batch of contests. It's going to be voted on in the new interface. It's just as simple as that. So we just didn't want to overload the jury. Turns out that 6 contests was enough to overload. So nothing happened to it. It's alive and well. Submissions are all there. Everything's going to work, but it will be voted on in the new interface. Simple as that. Okay. Hope that answers your question. Will all contest results be published today? Yes, they will. Right. I think they are already published on the forum by other community members. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm watching a dialogue on YouTube, not a question. I am from vacation. Yes, you're on vacation. Why? Okay. All right. So this was inevitable, right? One person's asking, why did only 1 of 15 jurors vote? Now, that's not actually technically correct. It wasn't 1 juror that voted. It was 1 juror that voted on 1 contest, and I don't believe I remember which one it was, but we answered that, okay? Because it was just too complicated. It was too convoluted. Jurors aren't just jurors. It's not their full-time job. Obviously, they have their own businesses to run and their own work to do. And had the interface been ready, this probably wouldn't have been an issue. But I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and I absolutely agree that jury participation was horrible. I mean, let's just put it out there. I mean, you know, it's a fact. It was horrible. And, you know, and the only thing we can say is, look, again, we're doing something nobody else has ever done. We're doing something completely in a completely decentralized way. And we're trying to create a decentralized governance structure. Believe me, my friend, this is not an easy task. So it requires a lot of forethought. It requires a lot of, you know, trial and error. And this was a trial and it had errors. And that's the only explanation I can give you. But please understand, I can't speak for the whole community. I can speak for myself. I was just as pissed off as you. All right. But it should be ironed out at this point. So I hope you accept that from me. And same gentleman writes, I submitted the contest and I got feedback from the community that the contest is good. How can I move it on to voting if only validators can do it? Well, it's not only validators can do it. It's the initial members, right, that can do it. But that's actually a good question. Can somebody else take that?
Ron, you can do it. So
I don't want to do it. You do it.
Yeah. In the next batch, we will add, of course. Sorry. In the next batch, we'll also add contest from community. That's for sure. That's what we should do. And in governance 2.0, in the next evolution of governance, we will have it fully automated, fully decentralized, so anyone will be able to initiate proposal.
Okay. Hope that's clear. And again, and now he asks Byram Gardner, sanctions for jury. Look, it's not like they were bad. It's not like they were evil or they didn't care or anything like that. There were several. It was a perfect storm. Okay, so first, the network had to be shut down for a time. Some people voted before and then didn't realize that they had to vote after. There were communication issues, there were network issues, and ultimately the process itself, which I'll be honest, even I didn't realize how complicated it would be, because some of these submissions are, 19 pages long and there's 50 of them. This is full-time work in many respects. Okay. Without a clear, again, I'm just going to keep using the same word, without a really good interface, these things become very difficult and they're very time consuming. People, these jurors are humans. So please understand, we're not here to sanction anybody. This is a learning process like anything else. I mean, we try, we fail, we try again, we fail less, we try again, and this time we get it. And this is how something like this works. I mean, if we want to, I don't want to sound, cliche, but if we're going to change the world, it's going to take some, it's going to take some bruises. So please understand, it's not about sanctioning. It's about learning and moving on. Everybody is a professional. We're not surrounded by idiots. So don't talk about sanctions. Talk about learning curves. And I understand that you were personally affected by it, but we're going to have more contests, and you will believe me. If you think your submission was good, and if it got good votes at the beginning, you will have another chance. So just bear with us, okay? That's it. As far as YouTube questions go, that's it. We have a couple of write-in questions. So the first is, why is the network so unstable when it has already been tested by Telegram and Ton Labs rigorously? How long do you think?
I will take it. I will take it. How long? What?
So how long do you think the network will take to become stable enough for full production?
This is a software, and so scenarios. It's an arbitrary computing platform, right? So the scenarios are vast, and yes, it was tested, it was stress tested, but as we see, there are some edge cases where contracts are doing something with the data, overloading, or stuff like that, and so it's very hard to test everything. Like that's why it takes time. These things, and I would say if you take in the global, like the time amounts of work that has been done for this network for this time, it's in a very good shape. Like if you compare more or less the same conditions, like Near network, for example, Near protocol, which they worked on pretty much the same amount of time, and their status right now is way behind Ton. obviously it reflects the fact also that there is much more people and community working on Ton as well. So I think it's a natural process. What we're really like, you also need to understand that Ton Labs now is not 100% working on just the network and debugging C++ node. We're not doing that. Our time is devoted to, you know, other activities such as the Rust node and Rust validator that needs to be, you know, finished. And that work is important because that will enable us to fix issues much faster than we're doing now with just having, you know, C++ issue, nodes issue, and the protocol issues, and we only have C++ node to work with for these issues, and that is not very efficient process for us, because Ton Labs is for 2 years developing a Rust technology stack, and so for us it is very important to, as quickly as possible, move to bring Rust nodes into the network. And once that happens, it will accelerate the debugging process dramatically, like dramatically. What is taking us today few days will take us few hours, and that we want as fast as possible to be in that position. So, and like 99% of our time is devoted to this kind of activities, right? And of course, supporting the network and the smart contracts, all the other stuff, of course. But and then just 1% is that we have to stop, actually. Like when we discover the problem with the network right now, we have to stop. Like a lot of people has to stop their activities, go there and start to dig into the C++ node and see what the hell is happening. And that is not very efficient currently. So we want to move to this other stage, and we're moving there. Like we're pushing as much as possible. Like people are really not sleeping. We're just pushing to finish this thing, and so I think I kind of tried to answer as transparent as possible the question.
I think it got across. Yeah. Okay, we got 2 more questions, then we can all say bye-bye. This question is, I believe it's about, it's a validator question. So question about the date changes. Why did it happen? Probably by this time it will be announced. If the transfer is due to a malfunction of the software of the validator node, then why do those who have problems now have an advantage over those who have a problem with the software of the node after the July 9th update? Suddenly there are a lot of logs, which leads to disk filling and node crashes, which did not receive anything as a gap after the update.
Well, we stopped the latest patch.
I'm glad you understood that.
2 latest patches were after the game 2 completed. So the game 2 only had 1 patch that everyone needed to apply, and this patch didn't stop anything. So kind of I don't think that any of that had any effect on the, so the game, after the game 2, after Sunday, I think, or Monday morning, then the game 2 results were finalized, and the rest of the patches now are not counted. So we're not in game 3 right now. We're not in the week 3 of the game, right? So, and as I said, we will start the game, the week 3 of the game, once everything will be solved and all the networks will work stable again.
Okay, great, thank you. Final question for today, wherever you are tonight. For Mitya or for Pavel? I don't know why you isolated them, but okay. What do you think about whether there is a threat to decentralization if all the members of the Korean community find themselves in the top 300 and get into the main grid as validators? So I don't think that has anything to do with the Korean community, any community, right? They find themselves in the top 300 and get into the main grid as validators. What's your answer to that?
Unless people are different and independent, acting independent, there is no risk for centralization. But of course, Korean community is very say organized. So in that respect, there are some risks, but we discuss with them. So what they can do is just again allow and to structure it in a way that every person acts independently. So there's then risks are minimal. Mitch, can you add to that?
No, I think again, it's need to be like for me personally. I think that there is always a risk for decentralization but the more risk is in untransparency. Say we don't know who what these nodes are, who these people are, if it's one person or 100 people. With the Korean community, we do know. With the Korean community, the Korean community is not is very transparent about that. So we know exactly what's happening. We know people behind each of the nodes. They will, pass the KYC as everyone else in the validator, as on a personal level. Of course, there are transparent organization of the Korean community, like they are organized, but this is just a cultural thing, I think, and I don't think that by itself contributes to the centralization, because the monetary incentives are individual. So they're not. It's not that they have some kind of one party who controls the funds, and I think that's the most important part, right? So the funds are controlled individually. These are individual funds which contributed by individual members of the Korean community. They're not centralized. So in that respect, I don't think we'll have problems with centralization coming from Korean community, frankly. I think we might have problems from the parties we don't know, from the participants who are kind of organizing without transparency, without saying anyone whatever they do, and they possibly control the funds with one party. That's potentially a problem, and we need to try to isolate that and try to find a way to kind of check that. But I don't see a big problem with Korean community.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. It's not about the Korean community or anybody else. It's just simply a matter of, well, they're better organized. What can you say? I mean, some people are, some people aren't. I mean, that's just the reality. Okay. Look, final call for questions, and then I think we're done. We managed to do this in an hour. Woo! How about that?
Excellent result. Excellent. Finally, 1 hour call. Yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone. We hope we answered. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody had a question.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Yeah. Hi. How are you?
Good.
Mine is just a comment. It's not a question, really. I just want to encourage the technical people behind Freeton. We appreciate you guys, and we want to encourage you. I know sometimes we don't speak, but we recognize your efforts silently. We know you spend a lot of hours not sleeping.
Oh man,
and,
you have no idea.
Yes, I would like to say we noticed this, and we want to encourage you guys to not give up on the mission. We are behind you. We might be silent, but we are very much behind you.
Thank you,
okay,
Cedric.
John, thank you very much.
No, Cedric.
Really appreciate it. Oh, Cedric, sorry, Cedric. Yeah.
Yes, and also we're also waiting for the new contests. We have already learned from the previous contests what is needed. So this time round, from my side, from African community, we've been able to get some technical guys who can assist us in doing the UNICEF project and also the smart contracts. I have some of them actually sitting next to me, so they have a picture of actually what needs to be done.
What's up, guys?
So say hi to him.
What's up, man?
Yes, yes.
How are you? Good to see you.
So we just got out from a lockdown, so at least we'll be able to contribute more towards the common goal of Freeton. Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. What an excellent way to what an excellent way to end the stream. So I'll actually leave it there, and I won't say one more word.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks all.
Thanks. Bye.